Good morning, everybody. I hope everyone's doing well today. Um, okay, let's talk about what Kash Patel recently has going on. Now, recently it's been announced that the January 6th pipe bomber has been arrested after half a decade of us all being gaslit and all this other stuff, saying that there never was a pipe bomber after they clearly there was a pipe bomber. To be honest, I don't really even personally give a shit about all that. Maybe I should. But I don't. Because, to be honest, compared to 400,000 missing migrant children, it seems relatively minor. And because the bombs never exploded. I'm glad they arrested the guy, don't get me wrong. You can't just be planting bombs in the streets. But I would have much rather hear Kash Patel, Tulsi Gabbard, Pam Bondi, Christine Nome. I'd much prefer hear them talk about the progress that's happening with the 400,000 missing migrant children, if any, is being had at all. Or is just this another thing the CIA is trying to program us to not care about? You know what I mean? I can't honestly sit here and say that, Donald Trump, Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, Tulsi Gabbard, Christine Nome, I can't honestly say that they don't give a flying fuck about these 500,000 missing migrant children. I don't know that. I'm saying that's the energy they have been giving off. And I'd like to be fair, perhaps they're puppet masters, what's their names? Enlil, Marduk, Ninorta, whatever the fuck you want to call them, are reptilian overlords, probably are forcing them to not focus on it, not talk about it. Shit, who knows? Out of fear, maybe they've even already forgotten about these children. I don't really know. And I don't give a shit. I really don't. Because I don't have a reptilian overlord. I don't have Enlil or Marduk or Ninorta in my ear telling me what to do. So I'm going to say what the fuck I want to say. Even, you know what, even if they did show up, let them show up. Fuck them. Why are we sitting there acting like, and it's starting to irritate me. I'm not saying I am bitter against all the aliens or anything. But I have to say, I hear a lot of talk about how people are worried that humans might just start worshiping them and stuff. But in my opinion, I think the chances of that have long been past. At least in my opinion. I can't think of any, a further reaction that I would even possibly make when confronted with all this. You know what I mean? Anyways, I'm going off topic, aren't I? It's a little off topic. The CIA, that's probably their boss too, or the alien overlord. So, I don't give a fuck if it sounds crazy anymore. To me, it's pretty much common knowledge at this point. And I'm sick of being gaslit. I know we all are. So, they're just going to talk about this shit like it's not happening. Well, I'm not going to sit here and try to defend it anymore because, there's more proof that we are being run by non-humans, in my opinion, than not. So I'm just going to talk about it like it's a fact at this point. You know what I mean? Sue me if you want. Yeah, if you can. But it always seems to be those freaking three. And you know what I mean? It's like, Anywho, back on subject. So, they basically, the way it all works, they don't do a lot of this dirty work themselves. They have humans to do it. Like the CIA, for example. Honestly, I believe that's all the CIA has ever been, has been the deep state, forces that make us all comply, keep us all dumb, keep us all fat and stupid. That's been their job from the beginning. And as you can see on Twitter and YouTube and Discord and all, every app you can think of, there is no rest for the wicked. It's constant. They're constantly trying to convince you, and many of you they don't have to convince you. You already believe this. That the government, they have our best interest at heart, including the CIA, that we need the CIA, that we need them. We need them to stay safe. You know what I mean? They're the ones who provide the intelligence. Where are we going to get our intelligence without the CIA? Well, where the hell do you think we got our intelligence before the CIA? You know what I mean? Like, oh my God. I could go on about this all day because, like, they keep trying to solve problems with more problems. Like, basically, in World War II, because there was already so many different agencies that were gathering intel and intelligence that was a problem. It was a problem because there were so many, they were competing with each other. They were withholding crucial information at crucial times. And their solution was to make a whole nother intelligence organization, right? Brilliant. Brilliant! Let's make another problem. Which, by the way, they did the exact same thing after 9/11. You know what I mean? They had all these intelligence organizations and whatnot, but yet they still didn't get the intelligence in time before 9/11 happened. So they make the same mistake, come up with a whole nother department, the DHS, and how much you want to bet? Never mind. I'm not, you know what? I need to focus here. The CIA. This is what we really need to talk about. Because now, like I said, as far as the public was concerned, when the CIA was formed, their sole purpose was to provide specifically the President of the United States with intelligence, to provide them specifically. Although that's kind of like more or less been debunked, without them outright debunking it. It's been debunked because they had to come up with a whole nother department, whatnot, the DNI, the Director of National Intelligence. They had to come up with that person, who technically, is like, I guess, the boss of the CIA or whatnot. I mean, I think, technically. I mean, who the fuck knows? But all I know is that the CIA, privately, behind the scenes, its real purpose, really, I don't think it ever really had anything to do with that, with the president or anything like that. Because think about something, like, they didn't waste a moment. They didn't waste a single moment before they started their MK Ultra programs, their Project Paperclips, all the Project Mockingbirds. They didn't waste any time. So, like, that's what I mean. I think that was just all a bunch of BS. They had to tell us that the CIA was being developed, but they didn't want us to know what their real purpose was. I mean, that's what I believe. I don't really know how you can paint it any other way. I mean, just look at the freaking timelines. Look at the timelines. It's just something's not adding up with their version of events. It's just not adding up. I mean, they're like, literally, the MK Ultra began like immediately. Possibly was even beginning before the CIA was developed. I mean, for all we know, the CIA could have been developed after as a way to cover up the MK Ultra projects, for all we know. I mean, that's just speculation. I don't know if that's true or not. That's just speculation. But I'm just saying, if you look at the timeline, something does not add up with their version of events. It never does. It never does. But they, like, ultimately just have become the masters of manipulation. Like, there is no organization on earth that can lie quite as good as the CIA can. Like, just for example, now, allegedly, in my opinion, this is all speculation here, opinion and speculation, but, I mean, their lies, manipulation, have become so sophisticated to the point where they manage to convince a whole generation of young mothers to medicate their perfectly healthy children on a daily basis. Don't come after me in the comments and crap. I know that there are situations where kids do need medicine, so don't come after me. I am talking about a physically healthy child being put on medication. And it happens every day. They call it ADD or whatever they want to call it, ADHD. They can call it whatever they want. It's just an excuse to medicate a perfectly healthy child. My opinion, my speculation, I'm allowed to have it. Like if you're not new to this channel, you know I was one of those children. So it's a very personal topic for me. I discovered it was one of the first times I discovered the deep state. I didn't even realize I discovered the deep state at the time. At the time, I just thought I spotted a weak corruption flaw in the system. But no, that was just like the tip of the iceberg. When you put it together, once you learn who, like the doctors, right? And I'm not blaming doctors here, I have a lot of respect for doctors. But who do you think writes their textbooks? I did a lot of research on this, and basically, a lot of the time, the pharmaceutical companies that are the same people profiting from certain medications are the same ones who write these textbooks. And some doctors have like caught on to it, and I'm sure some have just gone along with it and just collected their paycheck. But not every doctor. There's been doctors who have been protesting against this once they've discovered that a vast majority of their education was, corporate based. It was about making money. And that's just the truth, guys. It's just the truth. It's a business. It's all become a business about making money. I mean, think about something. In 2025, why is it that the best ways we've got so far for cancer is basically just pumping people full of poison, when we know deep down in our hearts that all the advancements that they've come up with, that surely they've got better treatments than that? And I don't think there's a person on earth who hasn't felt the loss of cancer in their life, who hasn't lost people dear to them from this horrible disease that they should have been able to fix long ago. And, I'm going to say allegedly, because, there's no way I can possibly know for sure. It's more of a gut feeling than anything. But what I do know for sure is that they medicated almost an entire generation of healthy children. It's just brilliant, right? Because this is the gig. It's, at least with as far as ADD and ADHD and like behavioral issues in school. Like basically the kid who's just acting up in school and won't act the way the school wants them to act. Which there are like, what, is 75% of the population when they were a kid? Well, here's how the gig works. And the teachers are in on it, possibly even the principals. But like, basically what they'll do, they'll explain to the parents how much of a challenge the children are having doing basic things in school. They can't keep up with the other children. They will manipulate the parents. In some cases, they don't have to. But if the parents really love and care for the children, then they really turn up the ante. Then it really becomes easy to get these kids medicated, because they just basically manipulate the love that the parents have for these kids. Like, I mean, it's so easy. Like, think about it. A parent who has been told by the school that there's something wrong with their child, that they need to go see a doctor. They're panicking. And then it's just brilliant. Then the doctors be like, don't you want your child to do well like the other kids? You don't want them to struggle and be behind everyone else, do you? Don't you love your child? It's evil. It is so freaking evil. And it works every time. I mean, if you don't know any better, of course you're going to trust the doctor and the teachers. Why? Aren't they there to help after all? Most of them, yes. I mean, listen, I'm talking about a small group of plants. I'm not talking about the real teachers. You know what I mean? The real doctors who are real. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the plants. the people intentionally placed there to do exactly what they're doing. I mean, just think about something. They're basically sending kids to the doctor for acting like kids. For acting like kids. And they do it very young, like in the kindergarten, first and second grade years. That's usually when they really try to push it. Oh my God, they really try to push it. At least in my generation, they did. And I used to think I was like the only one like on medicine and stuff at school. But it was like most of my class. It was like almost everybody in my generation. It was just wild. Like when you really look at the numbers of, I mean, it was just wild. Just and healthy children on speed. Like, I'm talking like 5 and 6 year olds on speed. Doctors managed to convince a whole generation of young naive moms who love their children to put their children on speed. This is how sophisticated the CIA has gotten. They've gotten so sophisticated, and it worked. Because these aren't just like medicines that they literally are drugs, like narcotics that these kids have been put on. Now, I know they try to say these days that we don't use stimulants anymore, but what they're using that doesn't mean it's good. Oh my God. You know what? I'm going to have to start doing a whole video series on this because it is so deep and complex and disgusting, and like you will never be the same again. Once you know the things that I have learned from my years of research, because this has been a personal battle for me, for many people my age, in my generation, many people. And they've come up with new and clever ways, but they're still doing the same thing. They're still trying to convince parents the best ways they can to put these kids on medications. And they'll even lie. They'll say that, we don't use stimulants anymore and stuff. And maybe they don't, but listen. They tried to say the same thing back in the day with the Adderall and the Ritalin and stuff like that. They try to say the same things. It's not addictive and all this and that and the other. My God, it was speed. There were drug addicts on the street, like, buying it. Like, come on. Guys, like, come on. And I refuse to be treated like I'm the conspiracy theorist in all this. Hell no. I know what's right and what's wrong. I know what's sus and what's not. I was raised with a good moral compass, okay? I'm not trying to pat myself on the back. I'm not perfect. No, I'm not. But I know my own experiences. And I'm telling you that the CIA has millions of other ways to control people. What I talk about is just a couple things. It's just a couple examples. Big Pharma is just one of the many deep state tools in the deep state toolbox. One of the many tools they've got. Like, it's unreal. It is so deep and complex. And evil. It's just evil. It's just evil. But anyways, I'll be back today or tomorrow. I'd like to go back to, putting a couple videos a day again like I did, long time ago. It has just been so chaotic and busy. I'm still trying to move into my house and like get the studio set up. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. Trying to be patient. It's hard to be patient though. Because this has just been such a long time coming. And it's just taken forever. Everything's so damn expensive. You know how it is. But anyways, the petition. Please sign and share the petition, guys. It's very simple. It only takes a signature. Then you just pass it along to someone else who's sick of the lies, sick of the manipulation. And even if they're not, send it to someone anyway who isn't sick of it, who doesn't see it. Because there's so many good sources and articles linked in this petition that they can read and read up on. Like, you don't have to listen just to me. Like there's so many links on this petition. Good research that will open your eyes and things will never be the same again. I promise you that. But anyways, I hope you all have a good day. What is today? Friday? Yes, I hope you all have a good Friday. Good holidays. Don't let the stress get to you. And there is hope. There's always hope. And there is more of us than them.